Hi, I'm Phil Constantine. On this episode of Travels with Phil, we're going to Kabah, amazing structures in Mexico. So let's head down to Mexico, to this ancient site, down to the Yucatan Peninsula, and then zoom in to Kabah itself. You can see it here. In the middle area of the Yucatan Peninsula, to the southwest of the state of Yucatan and the northeast of Campeche, is a region of small mountain elevations known as the Puuc, a Mayan term that precisely means mountain range or set of hills. In this region, there are two large ancient cities that flourished in the period known by archaeologists as Classic, which goes from the 4th to the 9th century of our Common Era. These are Uxmal, the best known, and Kabah, joined by a causeway or white road 18 kilometers long that attests to the close link between these great ancient Mayan cities, whose research, conservation, and conditioning are part of the program of improvement of archaeological zones PROMISE that has been possible thanks to the priority program Mayan Train, or Sibaan Balam. See some of the repair works going on in the Codz building here. The history of Kabah began approximately 2,300 years ago, although little is known of the characteristics of the first settlement. Its name comes from an ancient Mayan word that means Lord of the powerful hand or the hand that commands. By the 4th century AD, Kabah was already an important city in the region. The Great Pyramid dates from that period. It's 46 meters high and is part of a triadic group common in the early capitals of the Peten, which reproduces the sacred geometry of the myth of the creation of the world. Its architecture leads specialists to believe that Kabah witnessed important migrations led by those in charge of planning the city, experts in the use of language and sacred symbols, who together with architects, bricklayers, carvers, carpenters, lime makers, painters, and a whole range of specialists were in charge of erecting the great buildings of this beautiful city. At some point, the construction activity was possibly due to a political crisis. Experts assume that in the critical period, the elites abandoned the city, but the bulk of the population continued to avoid the territory and develop milpa agriculture in the Santa Elena Valley, as it happens until now. Several generations later, the community managed to reorganize itself and with its architecture re-emerged, although it took some previous elements, changed radically in scale and construction technique, now with a closer approach to human dimensions. One of the most dazzling Mayan buildings in the city is the Codz, whose facade features hundreds of sculptures of the long-nosed god Puuc, the Mayan deity of water. These are large masts, each made up of 30 assembled pieces, whose faces gaze endlessly at each sunset. As part of the Promesa project, they are currently investigating restoring two ancient buildings that will welcome visitors as they pass through the arch that marks the end of the causeway and the formal entrance to the ceremonial site. With this work, they hope to achieve a better understanding of this great Mayan city, as well as offering the viewer a journey through time and the transformations of the Mayan landscape in the Puuc. For these works, they have the help of 75 Mayan people from the community of Santa Elena, who for 3 decades have collaborated in the INAH in restoration, maintenance, and archaeological rescue work. Their ability to recognize the archaeological remains in the thick jungle have been decisive in meeting the objectives of the archaeological rescue of Section 3 of the Mayan Train. Mexican officials are very excited to announce that the Promesa includes the creation of the Puuc Archaeological Museum, which will narrate the history of the Mayans of these lands, illustrating their different periods, their unique cultures or characteristics of their agriculture, their architecture and artistic style, and with very representative clothing such as Stela 14 and 18 from Uxmal, the trousseau of the Itzat warrior found in Kabah, the mask of the god Puuc, or the abundant offerings of jade found in Paseo del Macho. The new museum will show the results of more than 20 years of research carried out by specialists in the region, as well as recent studies of the hieroglyphic writing, which have allowed an updated interpretation of the history of the Peninsular Mayans, while emphasizing the persistence, resistance, and historical and cultural strengths of the Mayan at present.
Invita que se acabó de esta zona arqueológica, que tumba museo de Kabah, y esta fue historia de este Coliac y este Belay, estona, talong oye que na con de treno que talong.
So let's take a closer look at the Codz Puuc or Codz Pop, depending on how you want to pronounce it. See some of the designs here. This is it from 1841 on the right, 1858, 1880, 1890, 1915 on the right-hand side, 1930s there. That's my panorama from the year 2000. And some of the other spots this is some of the kings out there believed. This is the Sauk Bay Arch. See the work they've been doing on it for a long time out there. This is the palace in 1841, then 81, then 1960, and yours truly in front of it in the year 2000. And finally, for a little something different, this lizard here looks like something from a 1950s sci-fi movie. I can just see it saying, "I'm ready for my close-up now, Mr. DeMille." Thank you very much for watching this video. Please feel free to make comments below as long as the language is family friendly. And if you like this video, please click on the thumbs up button below. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the circle with my picture in it in the lower right-hand corner of the video. The arrow is pointing at it now. And once you have subscribed, you can be notified of when I have a new video posted by clicking on the bell icon in the description field below the video. Thanks again for watching.